I'm washed out like a turmeric. It's so yellow.
Okay,
Yellow.
you're having a cascading effect. Okay. So, with that great piece of advice, we shall start today's episode. Welcome to Remember the Cant podcast, where we discuss the episodes of The Expanse and we address directly all the 17 people who have watched that. So that's our standing joke. Whenever we introduce The Expanse, we said 17 people have watched it, and the three of us are adding to that number. So today we're going to discuss episode Cascade S02E10, and that's with bold italics to my co-hosts S02E10, not 11, not 9,
Not
10.
10. Yeah.
Okay, which of you co-hosts are going to take up now? What do you think? Sumit, you want to take on what do you think of
Yeah.
Cascade?
The Cascade only, right? Okay. So,
Yeah. Bold italics
well,
S02E10 Cascade.
yeah. So I started episode 11 and I was like, that's a very bold step that they took, skipping over everything in recap. Then I remembered, no, this is not. We have to watch episode 10, not 11. And yeah, I watched
I can
episode.
beat Sumit though. I watched the whole thing. 11.
The reference to episode 11 might slip in to this one too.
Okay.
But I liked most of the parts of this episode, especially of course the Bobbie scenes, and she was brilliant in that. And it
Yes.
was a testament it to her acting prowess that
Yeah.
just staying on her face, she could communicate everything that she was feeling to us. So this was a Bobbie episode, and even if he had like a 2-minute role, I loved Alex's part in the
Backflip.
the Blackfoot.
The
It was
yeah.
amazing. Rest of them I can just give and take. All the whole Ganymede thing, it was okay. I don't care about this crew anymore.
You didn't like the good cop, bad cop moments with
It
Alex
was,
and the other guy.
yeah, I saw it coming from long distance away. Parvati, what did you think about it?
Yeah, okay, at the Holden Naomi scenes, nope. I don't want to see any of that. I don't, I'm completely tuned out of that, so I don't know what happened there. But the Bobby scenes were amazing, like Sumit said. And there was that part where they showed that Earth actually has some poverty-stricken districts was kind of dreamlike because you have this Martian who's afraid that the sky will fall on her head because she's not used to this kind of open space, and then she's just walking down there looking for the ocean. I thought all of that was very poetic. It was very lyrically conveyed, if that makes sense, because it was so beautiful. And also, even among the drug dealers, there are some good people because he's the one who finally showed her where the ocean is. And also, it was in stark contrast to the UN because so far we have seen the UN in all its shiny buildings and the clean hallways and the big windows. This was in stark contrast to that you see people living under bridges and living outside in tents exposed to the elements. I really love those parts. And also the Ganymede, those scenes didn't make much of an impression on me because I don't know, I thought those were more filler. How do you say it? They were just fillers that they didn't really contribute that much until you came to this guy Roma who wanted his chicken and who aim was beat up. That was interesting up to a point. But yeah, I also, yes, one thing that stood out to me was I think this is the first time we actually saw Sadavir Ehrenreich show some emotion. He looked so stricken because whatever he has been involved with has finally gotten out of control. And then that one, he knows that there is some kind of protomolecule human mixing, whatever it was that he showed Christian. And then that other one scene where she went down to the ocean to meet with Bobbie, and then she showed her that figure that kind of validated Bobbie, who's now thoroughly and utterly confused. She's traumatized. Those scenes were really very, very good. The only part of this episode, like I said earlier, that didn't make much of an impression on me were involved the crew of the Rocinante, which is quite unfortunate because they are supposed to be the main characters. You, Bala?
Actually, I'm going to start with the opposite end, which is I like the Ganymede settings because they were very raw. Sci-fi in general usually has a clean, polished look, which of course George Lucas tried his best to give it realism and
Dirty
all
up,
that,
yeah.
dirty up the looks. And this one
Right.
was also that you could see Ganymede beaten up. In fact, it reminded me of my lab when I used to work in a lab long, long time ago. It was exactly like that. You don't have order in a lab, and Ganymede, like Amos rightly says, I'll try to imagine a beauty in this. There's no beauty in a lab. There's no, even if it's beaten up, even if it were not as beaten up as they showed, that is after the mirrors falling off and all that, I would still think the core of the lab would have been the exact same way. The instruments here and there, wires everywhere, tubes running up and down. That's exactly how it is. It's a lab setup. So I like that. The hydroponics, I like Praxis commentary on all of this and guiding us because botany is very difficult to understand. I never understand botany. So I think he's a very good guide. And plus, you can see his emotions going up and down, whether May is alive or not. They're giving him hopes, and suddenly they take it away. But now he doesn't know whether to believe that she is dead or she's alive, to feel relieved or to feel sad. He doesn't know because she has this condition. At one when he thinks she is dead, is he confesses to Amos that, oh, I was relieved because she was going through this condition. I couldn't do anything to help her, so I actually felt okay. But now that she's back, I don't know what to feel. I'm happy in one sense. So I liked Prax or Drax. I keep confusing, getting confused.
Drax is the one in Guardians of the
Ah,
Galaxy.
the bald head guy in
Right.
Guardians of the Galaxy. So this is Prax. Okay. So I liked his character a lot. Amos in company in Praxis company is ideal for me because you see some kind of raw emotions also show up.
Yes.
But like you guys rightly pointed out, and I realized one thing that today I couldn't get the subtitles to work, and so I realized that without the subtitles, I cannot understand what Holden is speaking. I went back, I went back, I went back again. I just couldn't understand what Holden was saying. And I said,
Yeah,
okay,
he mumbles a lot, right?
maybe it
Yes, he
doesn't
does.
matter. And it was true, it didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
So that was a big realization for me. Yes, you guys already talked about Bobbie's scene. Damn, I should have started with that, the summary. I One subtle thing that I noticed was she takes her award, the what is the
The
cross
Medal
out,
of Honor or
medal
Yes,
of
something.
yes.
honor out, and then uses it to tear up
Yeah.
the insulation. It's like too good. That's what you do with an award that you don't really care.
Yeah. Finally, it came to use for it.
To some
Yeah.
use to open up the insulation.
It was useless otherwise.
Completely useless.
Yeah. So I know why that Roma guy was in there. It was to make him look like an ass and for Amos to really thrash him out. That's all. The utility
That's
was
it.
done. They didn't want to do I mean, come on. They do more complicated things than find facial recognition and get the match
Yeah.
out. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. We knew it all along where you
And
just
he has
keep
food
working.
to feed half the station. How has the station not rioted against this one guy who opens his
Yes.
doors to anyone?
Exactly. It made no sense.
Yeah, he had no power to speak of, and
Yeah.
he's just
And he's
showing
just,
people CCTV footage, and in
do
exchange
you need
he
him
wants
for that?
chicken. Yeah, like it shouldn't happen, but if there are enough people there, they could just march up to him and make him
Totally.
Yeah.
do
Make him do.
whatever, show him whatever kind
Yeah.
of footage they want.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
as but we saw that he's a very kind guy. After Amos's beating, he was like, I will work pro bono.
Don't tell me,
Completely free.
Yeah.
don't tell me Naomi can't pull that stuff off. Whatever he was doing. Come on, the facial rec. Everybody in the
Yeah.
street would have done this.
What's so special about him that the entire station is so afraid of him? I mean, he's a
And
scrawny guy. Give him one beating. That's it.
Actually, that Kotari guy would have been perfect for this. At least you know that he means
yeah.
business. You can beat up,
Yeah.
and he'll keep guard his chicken with his life, right? So that would
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
all for that one, bashing of his head is what they needed, right?
They wanted to play up that
Yeah.
angle of Amos being like a
Right,
ruthless
exactly.
kind of,
Yes.
and this guy is a humanitarian. He
Uh,
nourishes life, and Amos is the one destroying it. So they are
right.
butting heads. So they
Yeah.
wanted to
Yeah.
highlight that even more. But then
Yeah.
Amos has to do that spiel about he's a bully. He's gonna take your
Yeah.
daughter into
I don't
prostitution
want
or
anyone to become like me. What
Yeah.
I
Like
went through,
me.
nobody
or
should.
where I grew up.
Yeah, where I grew
Uh,
up. It has that tone of voice that he's
Yeah.
trying to be
Do you
so
know where I grew up?
tense. Yeah.
It's
He's so
I'm
one
back.
step away
intense.
from becoming Batman. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's with your throat, guy?
Yeah, I have a
Exactly.
lozenge or something. I have crocin
Yeah, have some hot tea. Do something.
or something. It will also calm you down. Just
Yeah.
Okay, let's
he
talk
was
about
proper insane. He has this crazy eyes when he starts
Yeah.
bashing that
yes,
dude.
yes,
And it
Yes.
was for a point. It served the purpose, right? This guy is talking
Yeah.
up to you to
mm.
five people in front of him. Four people in front of him.
Yeah.
Two of them are like full built
With
up.
the teeth and
Yeah,
belted.
and he is talking shit. Of course, he's gonna get beaten up.
That was
And
Yeah.
weird.
Amos knows he needs to beat that guy up. But I don't know what has changed in this season that he just goes berserker mode.
Right.
He just goes
Completely.
insane.
He has
Yes.
all of these rage episodes, and they don't really make sense when you look at this character because he's just so out of control. He's beating
Yeah,
people up. And then you have Holden there standing like a statue because he's terrified, obviously. And then, of course, much later, he needs to impress the girl by saying, I would have stopped him. Yeah, right. Of
yeah.
course. Of course.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. In season one, Amos wasn't like this. Amos was
Yeah,
even in the hotel battle scene, Blue Falcon battle scene. He's the one who shows restraint
Yes.
when there's violence. He is the one who is in full focus mode.
right.
He is not the one who goes out off the handle. And
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Yes.
don't
Yes.
Absolutely.
know why they've
And
done
I
this
think
change, or is it because that
yeah.
after talking to that guy
I think we
Oh,
also
that guy.
talked
Okay.
about it, right, in
What's
the
his name?
first season.
Alcazar. Alcazar.
Yeah. I
Alcazar,
mean,
yeah,
we spent a lot of time analyzing Amos in season one, and one of the things we constantly pointed out was he had restraint, and now it's just he's out of control. He's psychotic almost because you don't know what he'll do. He's bashing people's head in.
all I like the biology, the details about the biology that he mentions also.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah,
Distilled water and mineral solution.
Yeah,
And of course, he has
yes.
to explain the title of the episode. So he went on a
Mm,
big
the
thesis about
yeah,
hydroponics.
Cascade.
Yes,
cascading effect, yeah.
Yeah, simple
cascading. Yeah.
complex system. That's what I wrote down. Simple complex
Yes, in
system.
complex system. So you don't
Just
know
the
what to
fact
go
that
wrong. Yeah,
the leaves are yellowing leads him to a lot of other
yeah.
conclusions. I like that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was very quick. He didn't spend any time thinking. That shows he's quite the expert.
Hmm.
And his explanations were quite good actually. When he spoke about, he manages to blend science with some philosophical musings, which was quite good. Because we did have instances of us trying to figure out why an episode was titled as they were. This one,
Hmm.
at least, we got an explanation.
But this, are they only explaining Ganymede, or the entire episode somehow has a crisscross reference to the Cascade?
Feels like it's the beginning of something more
Okay.
than it
It is
actively
right.
happening.
Gunny's
Yeah.
the her being imprisoned is what leads to
Yes.
her increasing the distrust with the Martians. The earlier
Yeah.
Gunny, the one who was before Ganymede,
Uh,
wouldn't do this, wouldn't
Hmm.
go
yes.
against orders.
Right.
She was
Right.
Right.
very, very much the soldier,
Yeah.
always
Hmm.
following orders. Now she's defying it.
All of the events since then, and
Yeah.
her seniors not believing, and the direct senior telling him that telling her that there's a difference between truth and fact,
Hmm.
which
Correct.
shouldn't be, and that doesn't
Yeah,
sit
yeah.
right with her. I think mostly what hurt her was blaming, what was that guy's name? The one who was born on Earth,
Travis.
Trav
Travis, right?
Travis, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything was blamed on him. Didn't sit right with her because, according to her, they were the good guys.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, yeah.
everything that
In
has
her case,
changed.
it's a bit of a cascading effect for her because she's gradually losing trust. So many things are going wrong from all the sources she did not expect, from her
Hmm.
own superiors, from her own planet. Everything is just going wrong. And towards the end, you find that even her government has let her down because they were
Yeah.
looking for.
Isn't Jules Mao responsible for all of this? Why is Christian pinning it on the Martian government for the vac suit guy? No vac suit
Isn't that
protocol
in
guy.
episode 11? We get an explanation for that.
Oh, is it? Okay, okay. So
Yes.
maybe I jumped the gun.
Yeah.
No, but even in this, she goes off from what Erin Wright tells her, that
Yes.
she
That's true.
Jules Pierre was developing the protomolecule for the Martians. So
Yeah.
that's why she blames
Oh,
it on.
is
He
that
did
what they
say that. Yeah, that's
do
true.
they reveal that here? I missed.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
they do.
yeah,
They
yeah.
do. He
Oh,
gave her the data set to show that Jules Mao was doing this.
oh, I see. Okay, okay, okay. Okay.
Mm, yeah.
Erin Wright
Bala
becomes
has
a
her cards
child
in
in
hand.
front of her.
Yeah, he does. Didn't right? He was crying a little bit because of the implications of what he did. It went so much out of control. Now he
Yeah.
doesn't even know where to start. So you might as well just give it over to superior forces like Christian.
Yeah. Yeah, he comes crying to Mama and says, Mama, fix
Yeah,
Yeah.
this for me. Yeah.
I messed it up.
I
I
messed it
messed it
up.
up.
And
Yeah.
Mama says, I told you so.
The mentor-mentee relationship, that was not revealed previously, right? That they had this kind of a
No,
relationship.
No, I
Like you
don't.
taught me,
no.
he
Mm,
says, right?
Yeah. That was never revealed. That was out of the blue. It seemed more confrontational than a mentor
correct.
mentee thing.
Yeah.
They were always at loggerheads. He would do something, she would disapprove. She would do something, he would disapprove. And they're both keeping secrets from each other. So I didn't get that impression. Today,
Mm,
that was a bombshell.
mm,
Yeah. I always thought they were at an equal level, but it seems like he was training under her and has risen quickly through the ranks.
Yes.
mm. But I liked his character. I think he's redeemed
Yeah, yeah.
himself from being a complete wuss to somebody who has some, another dimension to his whole character.
Yeah.
So I liked
I
him.
didn't think he was a wuss, but I did think he was a snake, or if you would.
Yeah. He was
Hmm.
more of a one of those, multi personality type characters. You never know what he's actually doing because he was so
Ah,
story based. And
hmm.
now
Yeah.
today you actually got a glimpse of the real person.
I was going to say Mao figured out Christian way faster than Erin Wright did. In spite of the fact that Erin Wright keeps looking and interacting with her, Mao said, "Oh, she probably already knows what's going on between the two of us, and she's just playing you." And this fellow, it took him so long, and after revealing it, says, "Oh, you already knew? Oh my God, I didn't know that." It's like,
And she
dude.
does a good job. She doesn't change her expressions on her face.
Yeah, it's always the same. It's always the same. And I also think Jules Mao probably has that mindset of suspecting everybody and underestimating nobody. And so
Hmm.
Yeah.
maybe he's also a little bit similar to Christian when it comes to scheming, plotting, doing things behind people's backs. So he knows that she's also capable of this.
Don't you guys think having slums so close to the UN is bad PR? You,
It's right outside the building. It was actually
yeah.
surprising that she just, stepped out and she's in the slums. I mean,
Yeah, and while going out, she has no security looking for
nothing. And
nothing.
where's the security system? The lack of computers in this world is bothering me. How come nothing noticed?
Yeah, at least if you're in the Dune universe, they have an explanation for this, for distrust of computers. They
Yeah.
have they had the whole Butlerian jihad thing.
Yes. The
But
jihad thing, yes.
here, your whole basis
There's
is,
nothing. Yeah. I mean,
They wanted to give it a dystopian feel, so they have these chimneys and stuff, but it has NCD panels and it's telling you the temperature. There's a the register
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like a hollow screen, and they're punching in numbers. And then there's like people dressed up pretty shabbily, the suit on their
Yeah,
face and everything like that.
yeah.
it was very Star Warsian again,
Yeah,
Yes.
like the
uh,
poverty in
Yep.
a sci-fi setting.
correct. Very high tech in some sense, but it's still very poor in another sense.
Yeah, you
The
see
thing
here
is,
also,
yeah.
right?
Mm,
You see in slums, people are using smartphones.
yes.
They're
And
FaceTiming, yeah.
the whole thing actually felt, if you dream something and then scenes come together and they don't quite make sense, it felt like that. When
Mm.
Bobbie, she, when, first of all, I could not wrap my head around the fact that she used her medal to get the window out just like that and there were no alarm systems in place. First of all,
Yeah,
that. Then she fell off the roof and nothing happened to her. The second thing. And then you find these
She's a
slums right.
marine, marine,
Marine.
marine.
She's a marine, right? She's a marine. And then in these slums right outside, and they have all of these digital devices in addition to being in the slums, and it was just it was surreal actually, not quite realistic. And then I don't know, it kind of felt a little bit dream-like. You have to really
Mm.
swallow
yeah.
disbelief over there. And then
Her
she finally found
falling,
the ocean.
it should
Yeah,
have, even if she's a marine, like her bones are more brittle than
correct.
Yeah,
The
true,
earth.
true, true. It
Yeah,
then,
Earther
yeah.
bones, right?
yes, absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I would have thought that she would have some kind of depth perception problems because this world is so open and so different. But
Yeah,
that was not really tackled in a very convincing way. You do have that drug dealer guy telling her that I know you're a Martian because you have this way of walking and you feel that the sky is going to fall on you. That takes care of it, but not quite at the same time. She's too comfortable and all of it just didn't quite mesh that well. Even though when you suspend your disbelief and just think of it like I actually did think it was a dream sequence. If you think of it like that, okay, it's nice. But yeah, for a real event that happened in story, that's not quite there. Not quite there. There were a lot of not quite believable, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, the cuts were annoying because one she just falls
Yeah.
and then next moment she's ambling through the
running away.
Yes,
running up
running away
the
full
streets.
speed.
How did she
Yeah.
get through the because we see that in the landing pad is not so far from where she fell, right? So
Yes.
she's
Yeah,
walking and done. She's out there.
Yeah.
So
she's just out there. Yeah,
She's just out there. Yeah.
I had trouble believing that part.
because they didn't show it zoomed out, right?
Hmm.
It also felt like this was staged, like the whole under
Yes.
the bridge thing was staged for, I don't know. It made me feel like, as Parvati said, like a dream sequence that
Mm.
you're going from one place to another, like just like that,
Yeah.
and immediately she's
Just
at the ocean again after
Hmm.
that.
true. Yeah.
I was going to actually
That's it.
appreciate the fact that wherever little glimpses we saw of the New York, it was actually very realistic. Between those
Mm.
the bridges, whatever the gaps you saw, you could see a few
Mm.
buildings, and they were
Oh
very
yeah.
futuristic.
Yes.
So
Yes.
and it looked very real also. So I don't know how they got that, but that was pretty cool. Uh,
It's supposed to be New York, yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
Supposed
rest
to.
of the many of the buildings match up. Few of the buildings are like CG'd inside.
Then I think it's understandable that there are slums outside.
Why would you say
Why?
that?
New York, I think whatever I've seen is just it's like a scaled up Bombay. Like some
Uh,
area maybe like Jackson Heights or things
Mm.
like there
the
there may be
Bronx.
under the yeah, or which one, that's Hell's Kitchen,
Mm.
Ah,
areas
as
like that. As if, but in that far in the future, I
ah.
would have expected Americans to gentrify it. A bit.
Yeah.
It's like such a major city, it would be gentrified by the whole city.
Hmm.
I guess the part of gentrification is that they had their iPad little thingies or whatever they had, the people in the slums.
Yeah.
Huh.
And
Yeah.
her, uh, she has to contend with the gravity, the new light and birds flying over.
Yeah.
Like they did not have any other species, moving species besides
A
human.
sea, a seagull. Huh.
The
Yeah.
seagull, yes, yes.
And
The
then she also
most,
has to contend with the political aspect of
yeah,
it, that what they've been told, that Earthers are just living off the government.
yeah,
That's not the case.
that's not the case. It was a lot at once. And you know that one comment that guy made about her inner ear adjusting, it should have been a lot more violent than this. She should have had some severe vertigo or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she didn't. She didn't. It was too packed.
Hmm. I like that shot that they show her through the whatever the drainage pipe into the ocean. That
Yes.
framing was awesome. I really
Yeah,
liked that.
Framing was very
That's
nice.
very
Yes,
nice, nicely
very
done.
nice.
And
Nice.
then
yeah.
she kicks off her shoes and gets into the sort of slightly, shimmy dips into that water. That was awesome.
I was surprised at how quickly she was trusting that Nico guy, the drug dealer.
Yes. It was very quick. She was actually smiling and she was really taken
Yeah,
in with him. That
I
was
saw some
fun.
chemistry between them two. Like that was
Yes. Which is
something
actually
going on.
more than Holden and Naomi,
Holden
by the
and
way.
Naomi, yeah, whatever they've displayed in this
That's our
whole season.
baseline. That's our baseline.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything is better than that.
Everything is, yeah, yeah.
Mm. Nico, I think. Nico was what was his
Nico,
name?
yeah.
Yeah,
Nico,
Nico.
yes.
Nico. Hmm. So a continuity thing that I found that Gunny, when she is doing that ripping apart of that, I know just when she is about to, she takes off her jacket and she has a sleeveless top, and then but when she's jumping out, she's all
Yeah, she has a she.
full
Yeah, I
Yeah,
noticed that.
black,
That was
I don't know, overall kind of a thing. So a very big time continuity lapse.
that's
maybe that
exactly
thing
where it was
also
going.
absorbs some shock, whatever
Mm.
the
Maybe.
armor kind of thing that she was, under armor that she was wearing.
Under Armour, okay.
Yeah. But we didn't see her put it back on. That's the problem. Because in
Yeah,
one
Yeah,
scene she
yeah.
doesn't have it, and in the next
but the
scene she
next
has
immediate
it.
scene she already has it.
Yeah.
Maybe the
Yeah.
award gave it to her. I don't know.
It just pops it out.
Yeah, probably.
Ant-Man's nanoparticles.
Yeah, I mean, the explanation we have got for all of these kinds of things is proto-molecules. So,
Yeah, so maybe proto-molecule here too. The spy guy, whatever his name is.
yes.
Yeah, I forgot his name. What is his name? Something sound like semi-Indian.
Kotia,
Kotiar. Yes, Kotiad.
right?
Oh,
Ko- I don't
Kotiar
think
Kotiar.
there's a
Marriott.
D at the end.
Oh, Kotiar.
Yeah.
Kotiar, not Kotiar.
Yes.
Okay, but that helps me remember his name. Kotiad, Kotiar. Hmm.
He said
Yes.
he's finally fighting for the good guys or something like
Somehow he made that assumption.
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Bold assumption. I don't know how he
bold
got that.
assumption. Yeah. Why would you fight for the bad guys in the first place if you didn't believe your side?
Exactly. Yeah. Now he thinks he's fighting for the good guys, but they may be the bad guys. He has no idea.
Yeah,
He's just
he
making
has no idea.
assumptions. He has no idea.
Just make sure that the
Just
Martians are stopped a lot.
Yes.
Like I like that. That was totally amazing. That's so
and he's privy to a lot of information that Christian has.
Way too much.
Why
yeah.
he's not
He's working
cleared?
with authors, guys. He's working with the authors. That's the only.
Oh, okay. Right. 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 Right.
That's the author insert.
I'm amazed that, in spite of all that, Avasarala actually pulled one over him by accepting Jules Mao's invite. How did she do that?
Yeah, the Rossi scene, just I guess having
Yes.
fun with gravity.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
awesome. I loved it. I don't know why the country classic and for all
He
the beer or whatever
no,
alcoholic.
he's shown to be a country boy, right? He's shown to
Oh,
have that accent too.
Yep. He
oh,
does.
really?
He calls people horse and that kind
Okay,
of stuff, right? He
okay.
has that country southern accent.
I find it very telling that this is the only good thing we had to say about the Rossi and its crew.
And something came on the screen, right? Like
Right.
an alert or something came on the
Correct.
screen.
Unauthorized
Yes.
ships will be fired upon. That's what it says.
Yeah.
MCRN ships, and it comes as a
And they've
but
declared a no-fly zone also, right?
right.
If I remember.
So
Yeah.
which means he'll be doing the dangerous thing by flying in there.
Just that the title of the no wax suit guy that Christian
Hmm.
shows, it's called Project Caliban.
That's the name of the book also, right? Caliban something.
Caliban's War.
Caliban's War,
Ah.
yeah.
What is, yes, this is what I wanted to know, and I got this from the digital readout on Alex's pistol. He looks at the pistol, I thought he was going to fire or something like that, but it turns out he's just trying to find out the range, the distance.
Hmm.
That's all there is. Nico is Nico. Okay, so not Italian Nico.
You didn't have the subtitles, right?
That's okay. You just missed Holden's mumbling, so it's fine.
Yeah, rest I
You're
followed.
okay. You're good.
It was nothing actually. He didn't
Yeah.
impact the episode at all.
Useless.
Good thing we
Ah.
have not named the podcast after something that he said. Oh no.
My goodness. Some divine providence helped us over there.
You remind me of that every time, Naomi. That's his famous quote.
That- I've forgotten what I have to remember. Please
Yeah.
remind me.
Captain
Yeah.
Haddock-like moment for Alex. This is an Explorers of the Moon. I think that's the Tintin episode in which
Hmm.
Captain Haddock does his birdie thing and his whiskey is floating like a bubble, and then he's
Oh, nice.
there, and then they turn on the gravity and the whole thing splashes on his face.
That happened to this guy, right? Miller.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I did.
yeah. And I think I referenced the same Captain Haddock episode back then
Ah,
also. All right. So remember the Cant or
or
else.
else.